Despite a rocky start, Sony's PlayStation 3 home gaming console has just ended a long 11-year run and has officially ceased production and shipment in Japan. If they haven't already, worldwide shipments will soon end as well. Despite its initial pricing issues, the yellow light of death controversy, and other early generational stumbles, the PS3 has officially shipped more than 80 million units. That's not quite as impressive as the 144 million units shipped by its predecessor, the PlayStation 2, but still a nice milestone regardless. The PS3 left an interesting legacy behind. I'm Ps4 here to make tech easier and more fun. Today, let's take a dive down the rabbit hole of Sony's 7th generation console, right after a word from our sponsor. With production having just ended midway through 2017, this is the best time to buy one for yourself before prices start to soar. And there's a huge market of PlayStation 3 consoles out there too, given the 4 or so iterations released. The original, fat PS3, noted by 4 USB ports, a multi-card reader, and PS2 internals included for backwards compatibility, is hard to find these days. It was the most prone to the pervasive yellow light of death and other fatal flaws, and it has a significant collection value given its ability to play both PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games from disc. A similar fat model was later released with just 2 front USB ports but no card reader or PS2 internals that can still be found for cheap due to the small internal hard drive. Then you have the Ps3 Slim, probably the best of the bunch. It was much smaller and quieter than the previous models while shipping with bigger internal hard drives and being much more reliable. Finally, there's the Super Slim model with a sliding disc tray. This one is more cheaply made and isn't as well liked among collectors, but it can still be bought sealed for cheap. Thankfully, upgrading the hard drive on most PS3 models is a breeze and often only involves removing a single screw. The PlayStation 3 may have very much lost the console war of the 7th generation to the Xbox 360, but it actually provided a fantastic ecosystem of gameplay that most gamers may have overlooked. As with all generations of PlayStation, there were quite a few unique exclusive releases to the PS3. Infamous, God of War, Beyond Two Souls, the Uncharted series, Demon's Souls, for those truly hardcore among you, Ni no Kuni, Killzone, Resistance, and Little Big Planet, just to name a few. But the PS3 also opened the door for one of the best playing experiences for 2 other generations of games as well. My good buddy BBK Dragoon particularly loves this aspect of the PS3.
My favorite aspect of the PlayStation 3 is the fact that it can play so many games. Not just PS3 titles, any PS3 can play PlayStation 1 games straight from the disc or through PSN downloads in full HD with unlimited memory card space right there. The emulation isn't hardware, but still one of the best ways to play PS1 games to date. Plus, there's a wide variety of PS2 download titles available in the PSN store as well. And if any of you are lucky enough to still have the original OG PS3, you can play those from disc as well. The PS1 and PS2 were very important consoles to me, and being able to play all 3 generations in one place really does mean quite a bit. Also, there are some amazing HD collections on that system.
Ah yes, the other kind of backwards compatibility that the PS3 was graced with. One of the most underrated kinds too. The HD packs of franchises released exclusively to the console for the most part. I have some pretty controversial and negative opinions about remasters that we can discuss in a future video, but I have a huge soft spot for the HD packs on PS3. Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, Zone of Enders, Devil May Cry 1-3, the full God of War saga including ports of the PSP games, and the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD remix. There are more, these are just some of the ones that I own. These are all great ports and great ways to play those games today, especially for something like Ico, which had a pretty limited resolution running on original hardware. Then when you consider the God of War 3 Ps4 Remaster in comparison to the full 5 game pack for PS3, all still running at 1080p 60fps, it's kind of a no-brainer. This method was porting done right in a way that I can appreciate. Don't glorify and do crazy re-engineering to singular games in a franchise. Just port them over, upscale, and clean up the graphics so they look good and still play properly. It was a great scene, and collecting these is a very rewarding way to build a library too. The PS3 also launched the new PlayStation Plus program and its monthly distribution of free games for download. Even today, each month I get to stock up on digital download games for the PS4, the Vita, and the PS3. Also, the PS3 got a port of Portal 2 that had local split screen, Steam account linking, and even gave you the game both on PS3 and on PC. That was pretty unique and innovative at the time. Yes, some games, especially earlier titles, only output at 720p. But honestly, I don't find it super noticeable. On my normal gaming monitor, it looks fine at 720p. And on my HD CRT, I limit my PS3 to 720p anyway, not to mention the console outputs via both analog and digital video feeds, as well as optical audio. So you can do composite, S-video, RGB, component, or HDMI, along with SPDIF optical audio, all from the same console. And it's backwards compatible with the analog video cables from the PS2 and the PS1. Talk about connectivity options. The PS3 had a pretty crazy history on the software front as well. Originally designed to be a home entertainment PC, not just a game console, the system's UI contrasted sharply with that of the Xbox 360. The XMB menu, as it was called, confusingly sounding similar to the Xbox, was actually pretty intuitive to navigate and gave you direct access to many more settings than its competitor allowed. The original model's 4 USB ports and multi-card reader came with support for a mouse and keyboard, as well as photo and document editing capabilities, which were later removed or hidden away. Users could create and customize their own themes and playback video files. Sony's little box was way ahead of the curve when it came to supporting media playback and downloadable apps, and even supported HDMI out and wireless networking in the console before the Xbox 360. It was quite an impressive machine. What was also impressive was the Condor cluster, a massive supercomputer made from almost 2,000 clustered PlayStation 3 consoles running Linux, created by the United States Air Force. They weren't the only ones to do this either. An Other OS option was originally supported on the console, allowing users to install Linux and other operating system kernels alongside the native PlayStation OS to treat the system as a computer. But due to the jailbreaking possibilities that resulted from such openness, Sony patched the consoles with official firmware version 3.21 in March 2010 to remove that capability, as they really began cracking down on misuse of their machines. They then introduced auto-updating, and as of firmware version 3.50, released in September of the same year, soft modding jailbreaking of the console has not been possible ever since, at least by the masses. This was particularly crushing to me, as I had just learned about a jailbreaking tool that ran on USB devices. It could even run on my TI-84 Plus graphing calculator I was using for high school at the time. Having it plugged in and running the program while booting the PS3 bypassed the security protocols and injected the custom code. I downloaded the tool at school and was all ready to finally jailbreak my machine, only to find that the auto-updating capabilities that I had excitedly enabled before had already updated my PS3 to version 3.50, and I've not been able to soft mod it since. Dark times indeed. I've since bought like 5 other PS3s, hoping to grab either an original or one with old enough firmware installed, but to no luck. There are still a few hardware methods to flash and crack the PS3 firmware, but they're a bit further out of my comfort zone than I'd like. That being said, I do have quite a few test subjects should I ever get brave. I do have one original fat PS3, but it is dead. It needs reflowed, and then I'd have to find an entirely new screw set for it to piece it back together. A project for another day, which is something I've been saying for about 4 years now. The PS3 also had the means to connect to Sony's handheld consoles, the PSP and the PS Vita. This would primarily go on to function as a storage hub for your digital games from PSN. It was much easier to store your collection of digital handheld games on the bigger PS3 hard drive and then transfer via USB than to download over the slow Wi-Fi of the handhelds or keep them on Sony's ridiculously overpriced memory sticks. A couple games did use the PSP as a game function, such as a rear view mirror and some racing games. Of course, many gamers grabbed a PlayStation handheld for the one killer feature that I didn't mention: remote play. Yes, you could use a PSP to play anything from your PS3 remotely: music, movies, and games. Like the Wii U gamepad, but better. This was a fantastic feature and one of the few true shows of what Sony can do with proper hardware integration. It's not something I used much, as I actually prefer a full TV to the handheld screen and avoid handhelds for this very reason, but I know many gamers couldn't live without this feature set. I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the controller, the almighty Dualshock 3. Or not, depending on when you got your console. The Dualshock was the controller to own in the early 2000s, but the original PS3 releases actually didn't ship with vibration motors in its controllers. Instead, the wireless update to the PS2 gamepad featured a 6-axis motion capability. This was not widely used and certainly not a fair trade-off against the vibration feedback from most gamers, so Sony eventually released the DualShock 3 into the wild as well. The PS3 controllers were rugged and could take a beating, though Call of Duty's sprinting often proved a bit too much for the thumbsticks for some players. The wireless battery also lasted quite a while longer than the DualShock 4, which I find to be just hilarious. My main complaint about the controllers is that they never really drop in price. Sony keeps a stock of DualShock 2, 3, and 4 available, but prices stay pretty high. I've never broken one of my own, so I do keep quite the stock myself. All in all, the PS3 is one of my more favorite consoles over the years. I started the previous generation with an Xbox 360 because I was obsessed with Halo at the time, but I quickly grabbed a Ps3 Slim as soon as I could afford it. The library is massive, the introduction of PSN download games further expanded that, and the HD packs and backwards compatibility put the final icing on the cake, so to speak. I still fire up the PS3 and have a blast with it all the time. If you haven't checked out what Sony's third home console has to offer you, I highly recommend you pick one up before it's too late. What memories do you have with your PS3? Have you even added it to your collection yet? Comment below and let us know. Like the video if you liked it, click the link to go to check out BBK Dragoon's channel and his gaming content, or come follow me on Twitch where I game stream every week or so. And I'll see you in the next video.